Good morning and welcome to Herb Oracle Podcast, botanical divination with herbs, essences, flowers, and trees with your host, Herbal Marie. Let's start the day off pulling some oracle cards and getting a few messages. We can shoot the shiitake in a spiritual way-ish. And if you follow me on Instagram, I'll post a pic of the cards at Herb Oracle. Thanks so much for joining me. Here we go. Hey, welcome back to another week at Ho. This week is finally our mid. Let me grab a notepad. We made it to week 22. So in my agenda for 2020, we're at the halfway point. Dun da da da. We're at the halfway point, baby. Good job, Sadie Marie Cherico. Good job, Sadie Marie. So guess what? Our herb of the week is maybe the biggest one we've ever done. Our herb of the week is hawthorn. Yep, hawthorn. The hawthorn tree. Considered an herb because of all the healing properties, and we can use the flowers or the berries or the leaves. I don't think the hawthorn bark. Yeah, I think it's just leaves, flowers, and berries. So our herb of the week is hawthorn. You guys, I have a stack of cards, and I may have even overlooked one. There's 15 cards. So I don't know what to tell you about today's podcast. I mean, I'm a big slacker. I'm a homeschool mom, and I am like such a pushover when it comes to schoolwork. Like, I'm like, oh, that's too much. Like, we'll just do a little bit over here. So all I can tell you about this hawthorn podcast is I'm assuming it's going to be 13 hours long, and I would just listen to as much as, it's like when you're at the buffet. Like, just eat until like you're satisfied, and then you're done. Like, who cares if there's still food in the aluminum containers? That's what kind of buffet I'm seeing. Like, just eat as much as you want. So that's what I would just recommend with this incredibly gigantic podcast, because I'm not rushing it, because I think that me personally, I need 13 hours with hawthorn, because it's all about heart healing and so much more. But I would say, like, as we come here to the 22nd week of 2020 at Ho, we're reaching like the midway point, the culmination, like the halfway through the trek. The halfway through the trek, we've made it to the peak. We've made it to the summit. So after this point, like, we're on our way back home. We're on our way down, right? But this is the point where it's like, listen, what has been the culmination of all these, what are we on, like 200 and whatever podcasts, 240? I have no idea what the number is actually. What has it all been about? Heart healing, right? Heart healing. So there's absolutely no way I'm going to rush through this, because it's like, after this week, if you've been with me like this whole time, or if you're just joining me, welcome. Like, after this week, I best be getting my heart finally healed up, right? Finally healed up. So on that note, I'm not going to interject too much personalness in today's podcast, because we got enough hawthorn. But on a personal note, I made the executive decision, and I know this might be a surprise, but maybe not if you understand how sporadic and dramatic and extreme I am. I deleted Facebook. I mean, like, deleted. And I know that's crazy, because like, just like one of the most recent podcasts, I was like, and I'll send these pictures over to the Facebook page. Well, guess what? I decided that I don't want to add energy into Facebook anymore. It's not for me. I don't want a presence there. It really was like not very fertile ground for me, a waste of my time. I felt like too many energy vampires had their teeth in my neck, and I'm gonna put my energy elsewhere. So anyways, everything I ever said about Facebook, never mind. I'm not there anymore. And neither is Ho, and neither is Herbal Marie. And I kind of have an idea that Facebook is going down anyways. So, and personally, it already was down for me. So sometimes you have to just acknowledge the fact that something feels like crap for you and you don't actually like it, even though like you can become addicted to it, you don't actually like it. And yeah, it's like I'm bringing my energy back, and I'll put it into my Patreon page. Thank you to all the new patrons that have signed up this week, and listener support. And even this morning, I got when I turned on my phone, I got a PayPal notification that I had gotten just like a random 10 spot. So love to Ireland. That money flew over here from Ireland. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying the podcast. And yeah, so anyways, I'm still on Instagram. I'm still going to post my pictures on Instagram. I'm on my own Patreon page. And I have a YouTube channel that I can be obnoxious on. So I have other outlets. Like, I don't necessarily need Facebook. And I feel like all the people I was supposed to touch and reach on Facebook, I did. If I was supposed to make an impact in anyone's life, I already did. And at this point, it's just a waste of my time. So anyways, that's that. And I felt all that energy come back to me last night, and it felt really good. And so anyways, today I got a stack of 15 cards. Now, it's going to be interesting because 3 of these cards are from decks I haven't really used in this podcast yet. They're like the voice of the trees, the spirit of nature, and the tree angels. So all the other ones are our normal decks. I've shuffled these cards in a random way, and it's gonna be, I'm looking through the cards right now, it's gonna be intense. But if you want to learn more about Hawthorn spiritually and nerdily, yes, that's now a word, definitely hang out with me today. There's beautiful, incredible artwork. And yeah, it's going to take me all morning, probably until lunch, to get this recorded. And my kids are going to be annoyed with me. But you know what? That's Monday for you. So thanks for coming back to Ho. We're doing Hawthorn. Tomorrow we'll do tarot spread. Wednesday, we're going to manifest more good stuff. And this week with Hawthorn, we're manifesting more hope. So that's going to be awesome. And actually, that dragon butterfly card that we use on Wednesdays is here today. So Hawthorn even made it in that deck. I cannot believe it's in every herbal deck, because you almost cannot skip Hawthorn because it's so important. Every herb is important, but Hawthorn is one that, like, whether it was like the botanical hedge witch or the herbal healing or the magical herbs or a tree deck. See, Hawthorn's big because it made it in the herb decks and the tree decks. So that's why I have so many Hawthorn cards. So anyways, on that note, get ready. We're going to do this. Of course, I'm going to have to interrupt myself to walk down and get the school lunches that are still being delivered in my neighborhood. And my kids seem to enjoy it, so I keep going to get them. So I'm going to have to take a little walk here, but let's at least do this first card together and get to know our herb of the week, Hawthorn. So this card, let me see if I even know which deck this is from. This is from the Spirit of Nature Oracle. And it is a very interesting, the artwork. The deck is from John Matthews, and I think Will Worthington did the artwork, but it's called the Spirit of Nature Oracle, and it's ancient wisdom from the Green Man and the Celtic Ogham tree alphabet. So I was really called to this deck because in all the trees, and like this Hawthorn tree is gnarly and dark, okay? there's a face. There's the Green Man face and all these trees. And if I would have just went on artwork alone, I maybe not would have got this deck because it's kind of like older drawings. I don't know. They look older. You know what I mean? Like the artwork isn't like new age, and like it's kind of like an older looking artwork. This is a deck from 2003, so that can kind of explain kind of some of the. It is an older deck because it's 2020. So, anyways, this hawthorn tree has kind of like a grumpy old man face in it a little bit, which is what most of the trees I think look like in this deck. Grumpy old man. But there's Green Man wisdom in each card. And then if I wanted to learn the tree alphabet, which is different than the Celtic runes, I don't know if my brain can wrap around it, but that's in this book as well. So the Green Man wisdom with this Hawthorn card is challenge opens the way before us. Challenge opens the way before us. So yeah, before I gotta run my little errand, I'm gonna read from this book by John Matthews and Will Worthington, and kind of just get the tone set for the 13-hour podcast. And he has got the divination meaning for this card. He's got some Hawthorn lore, lots of it actually, lots of stories. Maybe this is why I like avoid this deck, because it's. But if you wanted to read and kind of go into the lore of trees, this book could be for you. So let's talk about challenge, okay? Because I'm feeling the challenge. I mean, beside me, I have a stack of books bookmarked to research for the podcast time, which was 2 weeks ago. I don't even know if I'll get to St. John's Wort. It's like I definitely am feeling my own personal challenges to focus energy. We hung out with Metatron this weekend, so I'm hoping he will help me, because I've asked Metatron, please help me focus all of this energy and get through these fun challenges, right? So challenge does not always have to be threatening. It can also invite us to explore new territory, to test our strength and test our abilities to the limits. So, I mean, challenge, we can rehabilitate that word, absolutely, and give it more of like a fun connotation. Like, okay, are you ready to be challenged? And people will be like, yeah, instead of being like, oh, fuck off. So yeah, some people find climbing mountains fun. People climb mountains and undertake extreme sports to face the challenges these offer, and most would agree that the experience has given them new insight into their lives, as well as an abundance of energy. The fear and uncertainty that arise in the face of a challenge can cause our actions to petrify into immobility, however. So it's kind of like, it's interesting that some people do so good with challenges and other people like get frozen with fear. So wherever fear is present, power is also possible. One small change of approach and attitude can transmute fear into power. Ooh, feel that. Transmute fear into power. Transmute inability into ability. And transmute uncertainty into daring. Your challenge need be no more than simply admitting to yourself that your life is in a rut and accepting the possibility of change. Accepting the, so I think like, hey, okay, admit your life is in a rut. My hand is like going up like, me, choose me. My life is definitely in a rut. I live in the rut, bitch. So if we accept that our life is in a rut, then we can accept next the possibility of change. And then we can accept the possibility of finding a new path and new goals. So the rut is not a bad place to be, because the rut is actually full of possibility, and the rut is going to help challenge, what we're going to manifest more of this Wednesday, our hope and our faith and our ability to expand. So this first Hawthorn card from the Spirit of Nature Oracle, that's what it's called, the Spirit of Nature Oracle. This card encourages you to look more closely at your circumstances, to discover where the challenges lie for you, and then to move forward to face them with as much courage and wisdom as you can muster. And that is our first Hawthorn card. Wow. So would you like to hear a little bit of Hawthorn lore? Because this tree goes way, way back. The Hawthorn's history is linked with traditional May Day celebrations. So at the time of the old Celtic festival of Beltane, the beginning of summer was celebrated with wildness and passion. So in the 19th century, May Queens, chosen from the most beautiful village maidens, were dressed in white and crowned with hawthorn blossoms. They were then transported in decorated carts or on the backs of horses in a royal procession that recalls a time when either a priestess or an effigy of the goddess of summer was carried from house to house to bring blessings to the crops and the marriage bed. The hawthorn's heavy scent is said to carry an erotic charge, and marriage rites were often celebrated in the shade of its blossom-heavy boughs. So, just heads up, we will definitely be getting the Lover's card in one of these cards. Wow, huge stack. About midway through, if we make it that long. Oh my gosh. So this book also has a story about the Glastonbury thorn. It's a tale about the hawthorn that is talking about the arrival of Joseph of Arimathea, which is, I guess, Jesus's uncle in Britain, soon after the events of the crucifixion. So looking for a place to found a spiritual community, and according to some legends bearing the sacred relic of the Holy Grail, Joseph arrived in Somerset and climbed a hill. At the top of this hill, he planted his hawthorn staff in the earth, and it at once burst into flower. A thorn tree still stands on the spot today, close to the top of the hill, known as Weirall. Every Christmas, a scion of the same tree, grown in the grounds of nearby Glastonbury Abbey, together with a sprig from this, which flowers in December, is laid on Her Majesty the Queen's table. So there's another little story for you. There's actually a couple more. So get cozy with your tea. You did make tea, right? And coffee. and a energy drink was probably what we need for this podcast. So here's one called the White Track. Olwen, the daughter of the giant Yspadaden Penkar, which is an amazing name, which means giant hawthorn. So his daughter, or her daughter, named Olwen, was the Celtic goddess of spring. Where she walked, white flowers grew up, which earned her the name of White Track. The hero Culwich fell in love with Olwen and was given a number of impossible tasks by her father. Like, you can have my daughter if you do this impossible task, right? So only with the help of King Arthur's warriors was he able to succeed in these tasks. But in the end, it was necessary to slay the terrible giant. I don't know why that's funny. It may well be this which has brought the hawthorn its association with challenge, something that all heroes must face and overcome if they are to succeed. So since love, too, brings its own kind of challenge, this seems a posit. A posit? Okay, so I just want to say, like, yeah, when I think of hawthorn, I think of heart strengthening, heart healing, the lovers. So I find it amusing that the first card that I shuffled the cards and said, give me the best order, or any order, because there's just so many goddamn cards. I find it funny and interesting that this one is about challenge, because that's not always the first thing. I don't even think about that with hawthorn a lot of the times. But actually, I've of course, in my own personal experience with love, I get that there's some challenges involved. Please refer back to all previous podcasts. So this is kind of cool. So apparently, somewhere in my the affirmations for hawthorn, I'm gonna have to put in something about challenges. That seems overwhelming to do the affirmations. All right, so we will just keep on moving. No need to feel overwhelmed, Sade. It's just hawthorn. All right, here's a story about the goddess of the door. Goddess of the door. Okay, so one of the deities to whom the hawthorn was sacred was the Roman goddess Cardia, who presided over women in childbirth. Throughout Italy, torches made of hawthorn were carried at weddings to propitiate, I'd have to look that word up, to basically promote this goddess, or to represent this goddess, who was said to be reluctant to bless a marriage until the groom had made sufficient sacrifice to win his bride. I love it. Cardia was also known as a guardian of the threshold, looking both forward into the future and back to the past. This aspect of her nature is also reflected in the challenge offered by this particular tree. So it's like, unless like the groom jumped through some hoops, proved his love, this goddess was a little reluctant to bless it until the groom had made sufficient sacrifice to win his bride. So guys, my dudes, like, if you ever wondered where all this, like, man, you gotta really prove your love stuff came from, I mean, it goes back to Roman goddesses, and blame Italy, okay? Blame Italy. But hey, I love a guy who's willing to just prove his love undoubtedly and do anything for his lady. I love that. I love it. All right, one more from the Spirit of Nature Oracle is called Sacred Waters and Wishes. Sacred Waters and Wishes. All right, so hawthorns were frequently planted next to springs or wellheads, so reflecting their connection with the wisdom of the ancestors, to which deep running water has always offered access. So to this day, it is still a custom in parts of Britain and Ireland. Love to Ireland. Thanks for the PayPal. Love to Ireland. Okay, to tie scraps of cloth called clooties. This is just getting better and better. To tie scraps of cloth called clooties to the branches of the hawthorn. So in parts of Britain and Ireland, they'll tie these scraps of cloth called clooties to the branches of the hawthorn, these represent people's wishes and are placed there in the hope that they might come true. So we are going to manifest more hope this week with hawthorn. And yeah, it was a custom for people, and they still do it, to tie a scrap of cloth, and you can call it a clootie, clooties. You can tie your clooties onto the hawthorn branches to represent your wishes and your hope that they might come true. All right, so that's a good start for our herb of the week, hawthorn. Wish my girls up in their bedroom would sit their asses down, because you can hear like every creak and crack in the floorboards. You hear it? Hey, man, that's why I'm supposed to get up early and record my podcast, but I might have to actually set an alarm. I know that's funny, like the rest of the world is okay with setting alarms, but I just never really want to do that to myself. But I might have to instill some new habits of getting up early. All right, so that's our hawthorn card. I didn't really mention, so after this grumpy old man hawthorn tree, there is like a path, and there's this big stone with a circle cut out in the center of it. And those have a name, and it didn't mention it in the book, but now I just want to point that out in the imagery. Okay, so I don't see any clooties tied on these branches though, but you can definitely do that. Our next card it's number 6, and there is a picture of 2 trees, a male and female tree. It reminds me of the lovers, and it's number 6. So number 6 is the number of love, compassion, and harmony. And the male arm and the female arm are kind of crisscrossing to create 2 sides of a circle, like one's holding one side, one is holding the other, and there's an illuminated hawthorn blossom in between it. The male is holding the leaf, and the female is holding the berry. And this card is from a really awesome deck called the Tree Angel Oracle deck, the Ancient Path into the Sacred Grove. So this is by Fred Hagenader and Anne Hang. And yeah, this is definitely about tree angels, tree spirits, and the message that they have for us. So I love these cards. There's a poem that goes with each card, and then a write-up. Let me read you the Hawthorn Oracle poem. The Oracle says, "The fulfillment of your love awaits you. That which you long for, like the water of life itself. Glimpse the sacred marriage, but do not search outside for what you cannot find within." So yeah, this is a pretty deep oracle. I love this deck. So what a beautiful message. Like, yes, this sacred relationship that our hearts yearn to have with another person, right? Like, we're thirsty for it. Like water of life itself, we long for this sacred marriage, the fulfillment of our love. And it can and does await us. However, don't search for something in another person, for something outside of yourself that you can't find within. So it's like you should satisfy yourself internally with that love, with that connection, with that wholeness, with that completion before you go searching outside of yourself. So do not search outside for what you cannot find within. So the Hawthorn angel represents unity. All opposites are reconciled, and the essences we call masculine and feminine find their nemesis in the deepest kind of mystical union and ecstasy. We can see this embodied in the flower of the hawthorn, which possesses both male and female organs. A powerful symbol traditionally used in spring marriage celebrations. So the hawthorn tree essentially does not need, right, anybody but itself, apparently, if it has the male and female organs. So it is complete onto itself. When descending into the denser levels of being and matter, where the source of life fragments into so many tiny reflections, the vibration of primeval union needs protection. This is where hawthorn stands guard, watching over the spring of life. In our ordinary everyday lives, we encounter hawthorn as a hedging plant with its strong branches and fierce thorns, creating enclosures and barriers. It doesn't just protect fields and pastures, but also our holy sites, those places where we search for the unity of life through ritual and prayer. Hawthorn is not just the tree of life at the center of the Garden of Eden, but is the protector, one of the rings of fire that we see in a mandala, there to purify all who pass through it. So, if the hawthorn comes to you today, the way is open. The path into the great mystery is before you. You are invited to step closer. You have been found worthy. Although this does not imply a judgment, but rather reflects the forces you attract because of what resonates with you. You are worthy. The mystery found in the temple of the hawthorn is the sacred alchemical marriage, true love and partnership. It can be between two human beings, or between you as an earth protector and Gaia, the living planet, life itself. So yeah, a lot of us are married to Gaia. like I'm sorry, bro, but I'm married to the earth. Yeah, but you can still go down on me anyways. You guys, I just want to interject something stupid real quick as we're in this beautiful moment together. That, one of the straws that broke my back with deciding that I was really done with Facebook was my most beloved last friend request. And it was a beautiful woman, but she was a sex toy salesman. And I thought, is this really where my Facebook and my vibration, no pun intended, my vibration going, right, with a lady that sells vibrators, and I know within the next 24 hours she's going to ask me to have a dildo party. And if anyone in this whole world deserves a dick party, it's me for sure. But it was just the point that it was I have to get the hell out of here. I mean, between my birthday turning 42 and the finalization of my divorce, I totally deserve a dick party. Absolutely. But it was just funny that I was I got to get the hell out of here. I'm married to the earth. Y'all need to leave me alone. All right, back on track here to these beautiful words that I just had to be stupid in the middle of. It says, Hawthorn's gifts to us all are loving attention, empathy, and gentleness. From them spring protection, stability, and commitment to one another. All right, so to wrap it up, and then I'm going to drink some tea and try not to get overwhelmed that we're only on the second card. Where the power of Hawthorn is missing, we become brittle and mentally stiff. We experience alienation and indifference. We become unreliable and unfaithful, leading to decay and disintegration. So yeah, I totally feel the call of Hawthorn in my life. One, because I want that love in my life. Maybe with another person, but definitely within myself, right? I love the Hawthorn energy. I need the heart healing. I need the heart protection, because I can totally relate that when the power of Hawthorn is missing, yeah, we become mentally stiff. We feel alienated. We feel indifferent to everybody. We feel brittle. We kind of become unreliable and unfaithful and disintegrate a bit. So Hawthorn is definitely here, like as a tonic, as a strengthening, as a protector, as a reminder of the sacred alchemical marriage, true love and partnership. Yeah, we need that within ourselves. We can have it with another human being, but we definitely can have it between ourselves as an earth protector and our living planet Gaia, right? So we can have this connection with life itself because we are worthy. We are worthy. And then, yeah, when we understand that and feel that wholesome energy, right? Having everything that we need within us, then those forces, that energy, that frequency attracts everything else in our life because of what resonates within us. Whew. So anyways, Hawthorn with this card is saying the path is open, the great mystery is before you, you're invited to step closer. So this really is the perfect herb of the week for our midway through the year, because it's saying now we getting real. Now we have so much more opening up for us. So yeah, just one more time. The fulfillment of your love awaits you. That which you long for, like the water of life itself. Glimpse the sacred marriage, but do not search outside for what you cannot find within. All right, got your tea, clear your throat. That was a beautiful card, and I love the artwork too. Very gorgeous. Okay, so our next card is from the Wisdom of Trees Oracle. This is our one of our go-to decks for our Thursday podcast when we hang out with the trees and ask them what they want to talk about. And this Hawthorn card wants to talk about magic. There is a 5-pointed star made with the hawthorn branches. That's what this card is. It's really, really cool looking, simple, country kitchen kind of looking, like that primitive look. But yeah, it's a star made with the hawthorn branches. And the hawthorn deva says, treat me with caution and give me respect, because I am an ancient and powerful tree. My thorns are sharp to give me protection, and wherever I grow is said to mark the entrance to the underground realm of the fairies. So now we're going into the realm of the fairies with the hawthorn tree. Now, just to give my nerds a little encouragement to hang on here with me. Hey, if you've had enough of the buffet, go ahead and quit eating at any point here. But we are in it for the long run here with hawthorn. Now, it is native to Northern Europe, to Western Asia, and Northwest Africa. It is thorny. It bears edible flowers and edible berries. It's a very long-lived tree. Obviously, if there's still a tree on that hilltop from friggin' Jesus's uncle, this tree can live a long time, I guess. It grows to about 50 feet or 15 meters tall. So and we have a lot of bushes, like shorter bushes around here. I mean, hawthorn, there must be like a ton of different species. The Latin name on this card is Crataegus monogyna. So I don't know. I'll have to definitely get to know hawthorn better. Being herbalist, I know of hawthorn, you know what I mean? But like, I've been honest, I don't know my trees like I could. So I'm excited to get to know hawthorn with its sharp thorns and intricate network of branches. It has been grown as hedging for centuries. So yeah, that bushy shit that we got growing everywhere, that's hawthorn. It's not like always like actually like a tree, although I'm not exactly sure yet if there's just different species and how thick the trunk can get and what that actually looks like. So yeah, a lot of times when I've used hawthorn, it's because I've ordered online the berries. So yeah, I don't really know hawthorn so well in my own personal life, but I feel like I should. All right, it is strongly associated with magic and spiritual cleansing. Its white flowers, born profusely in spring, associated with the purity of the white goddess. It flowers around May Day, which is also the Celtic festival of Beltane, and it was believed to protect against the witches who were always very active at this turning point of the year. Hawthorn has long been used as a herbal remedy to silence dogs, to balance blood pressure and strengthen the heart. So it's an herbal remedy to balance blood pressure, as my dogs freak out over nothing, and also strengthen the heart. Okay, so very quickly, this card has two messages, one for the right way up and one for an inverse. I'm just going to read both because it's our day with hawthorn. It's our week with hawthorn. So the message from this card says, the world is full of miracles if you have eyes to see them. Connect with the magic of your own senses and the power of nature. Rejoice as each new season arrives, savoring it for everything it can offer you. So yeah, we do need to be at peace and happy and content and excited about each new season of the weather, of the year, of our life. You know, we can connect with magic and miracles every damn day, right? If we have eyes to see them, if we can connect with our senses and our intuition and the power of nature. So the inverse message to this card is you are going through a phase in which you need to concentrate on the inner world of your imagination, intuition, and sensitivity. Try to shut off the noise. Try to shut off the noise and clamor of the outer world every now and then so that you can go within. So yeah, that spins off of the previous angel card, the tree angel card that said, don't look for something outside of yourself, you know, if you don't have it within you. And that's true. So don't look for a lover in your life if you don't have it residing within you. Don't look for harmony in your life, which is our next card from the Magical Herb Oracle. Don't look for harmony outside of yourself if you don't have harmony going on within you. So everything that you want to see outside of you, you need to cultivate first within you. That's just the laws of the universe. That's just how physics works. That's how magic works, right? So if you want magic outside of you, you need to feel the magic within you. So our next card is number 25, Hawthorn, from the Magical Herb Oracle by Sherilyn Darcy. And it has a message of harmony and stability and balance. Okay, a return to center and a finding of more harmonious relationships. Right? That's what we all want. Although you may find success is at hand for a challenge undertaken or a goal achieved. So yeah, it's like this good stuff with hawthorn is going to have its challenges. Kind of think about what it would be like to harvest berries and flowers and leaves off this plant. is going to be a little bit of a challenge with those thorns, and they are no joke. They are ginormous. If I'm thinking of the right tree and the right bushy, hedgy shit, like that thorn is not playing. So those undertaking study or academic work will achieve a qualification or find recognition. This oracle also says the chance for a change of attitudes and decisions is in your favor. In your favor is forthcoming. So don't be too quick to move on just yet. Good news and good fortune are headed your way. If you have been in conflict, look forward to a much more peaceful time. So I think that's a good message for us on our halfway through point. It's like, don't give up yet, okay? We've been doing the work all year. We've been saying our affirmations. We've been doing intentions. We've been trying our best to balance our energies within, to make time for quiet solitude, to meditate, to harmonize with nature, to really nourish and invest in our relationship with Gaia. And it's saying, don't move on just yet. Good stuff is coming to you. Recognition, a change of attitudes, right? All this good things that you've been wanting is on its way to you. So there is going to be a Hawthorn harmony spell that I can tell you about. But first, let's just get a little na-na-na-na-na-na. The botanical description, right? So we kind of talked about that with our last card. It's a large shrub or a small tree. Okay, to clarify. Hawthorn is a large shrub or a small tree. It is native to Great Britain, Western and Central Europe, Spain, the Czech Republic, Hungary, and North Africa. So that's where it originated, but now it's everywhere, which is really cool. It does grow to about 8 meters or 26 feet in height and has broad, dark green, lobed leaves with a hermaphrodite flower that are white or pale pink. So it's got the male and female within it. The fruit is a dark red pome that contains 2 or 3 nutlets. All right, so magically, witchily, we can use the hawthorn in our spells for defense, for divination, fertility, happiness, to connect with the fairies, for protection and uncrossing. So more deities that are connected with the hawthorn are Aries, Blodeuweg, Credelad, Flora, Mars, Olwen, which we heard about her, Psyche, and Thor. The planet that rules this tree is Mars, and the signs are Scorpio and Aries. And the element, you want to take a guess what the element is? Fire. So the harmony spell with Hawthorn goes like this. You're going to gather together 8 lemons, 4 cups of water, a jug, and a teaspoon of stevia, and 4 hawthorn flowers. So it seems like we're making lemonade. Okay, great. Cheers to that. Hawthorn is said to bring prosperity and good luck to those who grow it in their gardens, but it is bad luck to bring it inside the home. That's what this says anyways. It can help you see fairies. So if you want to connect with the fairy realm, putting in a little hawthorn hedging might be a fun idea. You'll love mowing next to it. You should see my mom's arms. She has thorned hawthorns all around her property, and she'll like ride her riding lawnmower next to it a little too close at times, and it just scratches the living bejesus out of her arm. She's like comes back in with her battle wounds. Anyways, the flowers will assist in promoting fertility. It'll help you see fairies, and you can place the leaves under your bed to ensure the chastity of a lover. So now, wait a second. It just said don't bring it inside the home. But then it said put some leaves under your bed to ensure the chastity of your lover. All right, you decide. Use this spell to bring a more harmonious atmosphere to a situation or between people. You can serve and share between those who need to find common ground. So yeah, you're basically making lemonade sweetened with stevia. Like you just juice juice 7 of the lemons and add to the jug of water with 4 cups of water. Stir in the teaspoon of stevia and slice the 8th lemon. Add the slices to the jug and say, bitter and sweet, together they meet. Bitter and sweet, together they meet. Sprinkle the hawthorn flowers into the jug and say, harmony blend, the spell has begun. Harmony blend, the spell has begun. And then you serve in glasses over ice. So bitter and sweet, together they meet. Harmony blend, the spell has begun. And then everybody cheers and you serve this magical drink, and then voila, everybody be finding their common ground, getting along, and more harmony within the mix. All right, sound good to you? I have a little bit of lemon water left over from juicing lemons a few days ago. I should go drink that with hawthorn energy all around me. And when we come back from my quick break, we're going to talk more about obstacles and tensions with our Hawthorn card from a deck called Voice of the Trees by Mickey Mueller. And this book is thick. I love it when an actual book comes with a deck. The cards are tiny, but the book is thick, and it's this dude. My dude is resting his back up against a rock. He's got a sword, he's got a shield. He's in between a hawthorn tree and a rock. Between a hawthorn tree and a hard place. And there are these raging wolves, like running. So apparently he was being chased maybe by a pack of wolves. And now he is hiding out by this hawthorn tree for protection. But he's well aware, and he's got his sword ready if needed. It's like, hey, my dude, have you thought of making some lemonade for those wolves? maybe make some a harmony spell with some maybe that's what those wolves need. Yeah, in this picture, it's past lemonade. Okay, like these wolves have no interest in in drinking anything you got. Okay, they want to drink your blood. So let me see if I can find Hawthorn in this book. Of course, it's like not alphabetically written. They're in their own order, their own tree order. Sorry, I should have kind of got this together. But anyways, so we're hanging out with Hawthorn today. There it is, Hawthorn. Now this is a amazing book if you wanted to connect more with like Celtic heritage. This does the I think the tree alphabet as well. The Ogham, Ogham Ogham. I mean, it's incredible. This is like a whole other thing for me to get into, but I just might pass through. I really don't know how much I'm going to get into it. So Hawthorn, this card represents the letter H, and the Celtic name is Hua, which means terror. Status is peasant. I don't know. This is what it says. Divining charm. There's a little charm here. You want to hear it? A pack of wolves by tooth and claw brings fear of harm, your sword to draw. Do not pale. You may stand or take flight. the sun will rise after a difficult night. So yeah, the hawthorn isn't just all like lovers and kisses and unity and harmony. I mean, the hawthorn tree definitely comes with its challenges, but also its hope that even after a difficult night, the sun will rise. And you don't need to go pale and wimp out. You can stand and fight, or you could run and take flight, whichever you want to do. But yeah, that fear makes us want to draw our swords, especially when we're being chased by a pack of wolves. They are not playing. Just like the hawthorn thorns are also not playing. All right, so this card does have an oracle meaning of obstacle and tension. Just that tense vibe, right? That, like our magical lemonade harmony spell, when people aren't getting along, there's that tension between you, maybe even extreme tension, maybe even fighting. That's definitely an obstacle, a challenge to overcome. So this card, if you would pull it in your reading, this hawthorn tree warns of a brief period of tension in your path. And this card, it totally looks like a tree with a trunk. Like it looks like a tree. Whether financial, personal, or romantic issues, you will likely face some disruptions and anxiety while trying to reach your goals. So those challenges create a little anxiety. They will seem like greater difficulties than they really are, though, okay? Just watch your back and be careful. Don't allow depression to set in because things aren't going your way. Fear will only make good judgment difficult and become a chink in your armor. So the advice is you must act with wisdom, and you may need to wait out the situation rather than act rashly. So that's also what the previous card was saying too, like just hold up. Good things are coming. Just wait. Okay, don't act rashly. You may be facing a test and be in a situation where applying force won't solve your problems. There are no shortcuts, but if you work through it with finesse, this time of difficulty will bring a rosy outcome. So it's like, yeah, I totally get why he wants to hide from this pack of wolves. Like, it probably is better to hide than fight. He's outnumbered. He has a sword and a shield, but I see 4 of them. And you're assuming there could be more too. They're running in a pack after this dude. What did he do to them? Maybe they're just hungry. I don't know. Maybe they're just there to test him out. So if we would get this card reversed, let me look at him as he's hanging upside down here. You may find yourself up against an impassable barrier. You have to know when to fight it out or when to count your losses and change course before more damage is done. No one likes to give in, but sometimes it's better to protect what you have left after a skirmish and take the lessons you've learned from it, surviving to fight the next battle. So I guess you need to know when to count your losses and change course, know when to fight it out, know when to just learn your lesson and salvage what's left of you, right? So let's talk about this picture though. A warrior is traveling alone. That's what's going on. He's traveling alone. He may be on his way to meet his comrades or on his way home to his lass after the battle. Although he is armed, he senses a difficult obstacle on his journey, a pack of wolves that he has heard in the distance. They are tracking something in the woods. Knowing that he is one man against perhaps a dozen sets of angry fangs, he takes refuge off the trail beneath a hawthorn tree. poised and ready to strike if he needs to. He sees them race past and realizes that he made the right decision. They are after another quarry. If he can remain still and silent, remain still and quiet, and in control of his own fear, he may come out of this without a scratch and wiser for it. So what's the moral of the story? If there's a pack of angry fucking wolves in the forest, get out of the way. Move. Take refuge. Go to a safe space. Like, sometimes that is the wisest thing you can do. Just do not try to engage with these fools. So hawthorn, sometimes known as whitethorn, that's another name for it, whitethorn, is 1/3 of the triad of fairy trees. So there's a triad of fairy trees: the oak, the ash, and thorn. Oak, ash, thorn. It's part of the triad of fairy trees. Its blossoms are white and its berries are red. The colors associated with the Celtic underworld and the realm of the Fae. Hawthorn was often used in hedgerows, its thorny branches making a strong barrier. Now, hawthorn can be considered a magical barrier against psychic attack as well. There are many superstitions surrounding the hawthorn. There have been occasions of construction plans being changed in the British Isles out of fear of destroying a hawthorn believed to be enchanted. So it's like the construction dudes were like, we gotta change our plans because there's a hawthorn tree there. Like, do you want to cut it down? No. Tommy's like, no, I ain't cutting it down. Do you want to cut it down? Dave's like, are you kidding me? Absolutely not. So it's like nobody wants to be the one to cut down this hawthorn tree because there's so much fear around the idea of destroying an enchanted tree. So they literally changed their construction plans. Hawthorn is also associated with Beltane or May Day. We're going to remember that because we're going to hear it like 10 more times. Hawthorn blossoms are an important part of these celebrations and are traditional decorations for maypoles. So do you want to get a little more nerdy with me? Real quick with this tree. And the deck again is called The Voice of the Trees. And you'll love the guidebook because there's this incredibly strong female warrior on the front of this book. So Crataegus monogyna is just one of the numerous genus and species of the hawthorn. Native to Europe, hawthorns are grown as individual trees and also as hedgerows. When not pruned back into hedgerows, a hawthorn tree grows to about 19 feet tall and just about as wide. This deciduous tree has brown bark with gray tones, is rough, the bark is rough and slightly scaly in texture, and is covered in sharp, hard thorns. Its leaves are alternate, simple, and toothed. Most hawthorns have deeply lobed leaves, but they vary from species to species. So I totally am forgiving myself for taking a really long time to understand this in the wild because it's like sometimes the leaves look different and you're like, I don't even know. That's why I need a tree man in my life. In May, the hawthorn produces lovely white blossoms with 5 petals each and bright pink anthers, the pollen-bearing part of the stamen. They are pollinated by many insects, including flies. When in bloom, the hawthorn has a very rich scent, and whether it is pleasant or not seems to be a matter of opinion. While some find the scent sweet or sexy, many others discern the beginning stages of putrefaction in its perfume, which actually attracts flies to pollinate the tree. So you might like it, you might not. Then all summer, the fruit of the hawthorn develops, ripening in the fall. The berries, called haws, are enjoyed by many varieties of birds who spread the seed by dropping them in their travels. So they basically just poop them out, and that's how the hawthorn can just start sprouting up everywhere. The hawthorn has many uses. The blossoms, the leaves, and berries are all edible. And the berries have numerous medicinal uses as well. And we will be getting more into that. Varieties of hawthorn are found all over Europe and North America. They will grow well in most soils and are happy even in partial shade. They don't have very large root balls and don't overfeed on the nutrients in the surrounding soil either. So these hardy trees, get this, have been known to live for over 400 years. So 400 years is a long time, but that doesn't really explain Jesus's uncle's tree. So I'm just going to question, I don't think that's the original Uncle Joseph tree, where he stuck his staff in. I mean, it's probably reseeded with bird poop, right? Like, so I'm sure there's still hawthorns there, but but 400 years is a long time, So that is one of the reasons why hawthorn is so sacred, and that is our next card from the Hedge Witch Botanical Oracle by Saulo Thompson. Hawthorn, Crataegus monogyna, and it has a message of sacred. So this is a really cool book for all my nerds. You'd love this deck. She talks about all types of things in this book, but it's like a foraging manual too. So here's some other names for the hawthorn, because we heard one, white thorn. Some people call it just May. They call it May blossom, May thorn. That makes sense. May thorn. Some people call it quick thorn. And some people call it haw, because that's what the berries are called. And then one more name for it is called mother dye, like D-I-E, mother dye. So I'm sure that has a story behind it. So the fruit of the hawthorn, called haws, they are edible raw and are also made into jellies, jams, and syrups. Hawthorn is a group of various plants which include both bushes and trees. Okay, so we've totally got clarification now. I was saying, I don't know if it's a bush or a tree. Like, I'm so confused because sometimes it seems like this and that. They're both, honey. There's like so many different various species and all that. They are bushes and trees. But the berries have a flavor similar to ripe apples. Some varieties are quite tart. The tender spring petals and leaves are pleasant and edible enough to be used in salads. So this hawthorn tree can feed you in the spring with some of the petals of the flowers and the leaves. I did not know that, did you? Now you do. You know hawthorn. Oh my God, I don't even want to think about doing a podcast for this. My challenges are already stacked up. All right, so the tender spring petals and leaves can be used enough. They can be used in salads because they're tender enough and they're pretty pleasant, I guess. They are also used to make wine, sometimes called hedge wine. This plant has been employed for centuries in traditional medicine, as hawberries have active plant compounds that promote cardiovascular health. So hawthorn berries are definitely something for you to have in your herbal apothecary, and make some tea with a decoction. Like, you really need to simmer them and soak them like overnight to get all their benefits. All right, so an important plant for everything from jam, alcohol, vitamins, and medicine. Hawberries are even more popular in Asia than they are in Western Europe and North America. Hedgerow jelly can be made by gathering red hawberries in the fall. So you want to forage about 2 pounds of them. 2 pounds of the berries, and roll them between your hands to detach the stems. Thoroughly wash them and place them in a heavy saucepan with enough water to cover. You simmer them berries on low heat. You mash them as they soften, just like with a potato masher. It takes about an hour of cooking for the haws to break down. Place the cooked mash in the cheesecloth, tie off the top, and hang it over a bowl overnight for the best results. You should have about a pint of liquid. Dang, that's a lot of work for a pint of liquid. Discard the pulp left in the cheesecloth. Then you add 1 pound of sugar in the haw liquid to a saucepan. You add the juice of a lemon and boil until the mixture reaches the setting point, about 220 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you pour into a sterilized jar and enjoy. So that is hedgerow jelly. Now I know why I don't make jelly. I'm not doing that. I'm not, and I'm trying to de-sugar anyways. So anyways, this basic recipe is great with hawberries because they have a lot of pectin and they set up well. But you can also try this with other forage berries if you want. But we're talking about hawthorn today, so let's just focus on that. How about making a fruit leather instead? See, that's a good idea too. But you can do all types of things with these berries. Hawthorn is the tree of Beltane, the holiday celebrated on the 1st of May, and a time when it is said the seen and unseen worlds meet. So as we've already heard, hawthorn plays a strong role in many folklore traditions. It's considered a sacred tree to the fairies, as well as being the wood of choice for a witch's broom. So we got lots of stories going on. There's one where the fairy queen is emerging from a hawthorn bush. Planted in a round circle, hawthorn groves were the setting of choice for goddess-centric rituals performed by female practitioners of Druidism. Among the traditions associated with the hawthorn is the belief that it is bad luck to cut down a hawthorn or disturb its branches. So when freshly cut, hawthorn gives off a scent of death. Oh my God. It's actually due to the chemical trimethylamine, which is present both in hawthorn blossom and in decaying animal tissue. So it really does stink if you cut down a hawthorn tree. So also maybe keep that in mind. Don't bring the blossoms into the home. They might actually just stank. That's why some people don't like the smell of these. It blooms early in the northern hemisphere, and that's why it's used on May Day. So hawthorn is truly a hedge witch friend, as there is no plant that embodies more succinctly the definition of line striding. I don't even know what that is. In addition to standing at the threshold of the unseen realm, this tree has in fact been considered a portal. So that's why the oracle property of this card is sacred, because of its prominent place in magical traditions and the legends of lore associated with it. So the question is, at this point, and I am going to take a break. I'm telling you, like, this podcast is going to be 13 freaking hours long. Here's a question for you. How does the word sacred apply to your life? How does the word sacred apply to your life? Your value system can be sacred. It helps you create a hierarchy of importance and place emphasis on whatever is most valuable in your life. So what is sacred in your life? Personal rituals, objects, spaces, right? You can have these sacred places within yourself and within your life. And I'm seeing like your grove of trees, right? Your sacred places. Even that place that we've gone in meditation before together, where we envision ourselves surrounded by sacred trees. Creating sacred space for yourself, either with meditative practice or with physical objects, is an important part of self-care. And it can be pivotal in enabling your connection with creativity and your deeper self. So in tarot, the magician and the high priestess are very reminiscent of this plant, hawthorn, as they too stand at the threshold between worlds and marshal strength and power from both the seen and unseen realms. Okay, I went and ate some olives and peppers and some of that magical harmonious lemonade, and refilled my tea. Is this too much? Absolutely. Is this podcast going to be the longest one I've ever created? I think maybe yes. Is that appropriate for Hawthorn? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like I got to get through this challenge. I got to prove my love to the hawthorn, just like the groom has to prove his love and go through all these incredible challenges for the bride. All right, so the next card is from a favorite. I love all my decks, but I love the Herbal Healing deck by Sarah Baldwin and Ashley Verkamp. Like, if you really just had to only buy one deck, get this one. Get this one first. The Herbal Healing deck. This is the tree, the card that it's a really dark looking hawthorn tree. Like, she almost looks a little sad, and in her trunk is a heart with a red light in it. But yeah, it is, and she's got her red berries, but it's all about heart healing. And this is, when I think of hawthorn, I see this card first, because I think, pretty sure, this was my first hawthorn card. Amazing. This was probably my first hawthorn card when I decided to really invest in my herbal decks. You know, I was tired of hanging out with just angels. I was tired of just hanging out with angels. I wanted some trees. And yeah, now we learn that it's all connected. Absolutely. So this will cover everything, I'm sure. We will be reviewing a lot of hawthorn nerdiness at this point on, but we're going to have a few surprises too, I think. All right. So if not, you decide how much hawthorn you can handle, but I feel like up for the challenge, and I feel like even if you're weary, maintain your hope and keep on it. Now, let me pull up this page from the guidebook. This is an awesome guidebook. It really is. It's in color too, so it's really enjoyable to read. So hawthorn is all about heart healing, and I love it. It starts out with a Rumi quote. So if you've heard me talk about the Rumi oracle that I have up in my bedroom, Rumi has opened my heart. Rumi fills me with so much unconditional love. It ain't even funny. Rumi makes me cry. Not as much now that I'm healing more and more, but I used to not be able to even work with the Rumi Oracle deck without crying. Like, sometimes within the first two sentences of the poetry, I'd be bawling. I don't know what it was. Like, maybe I just was like tapping into that unconditional love from our brother Rumi, and I was like just touched. And Rumi encourages me to be the wild lover of life, be drunk with life, you know, just living in ecstasy and in the moment. It's an incredible deck. So get this deck, the Herbal Healing deck, and then get the Rumi Oracle too. I want you to get them all. That's why I'm the hoe, because I want all the decks. Okay, so Rumi said, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So, like, that's cool because it's true. Like, love is flowing. Unconditional love is there. It's not even that we have to go find love. It's that we have to find the barriers that we built within ourselves against love, because the love is there. The love of the Creator, the love of the angels, the love from all the nature spirits, the love from our higher self. Like, we truly would feel more love with other human beings too, except we've built all these barriers. So it's like, don't even go looking for the love. Do your inner work of taking down these barriers. So, as we have learned, hawthorn is a small tree or a bush that produces sweet red berries. The edible berries, along with the flowers and leaves, hold the medicine of the plant. Hawthorn's healing gifts are very gentle. So the tea or tincture can be taken long term as a heart and circulatory tonic. While this is of great benefit to the body, hawthorn ties to the heart go far deeper than the physical realm. The plant spirit of hawthorn is one of the most potent for healing and opening the energetic heart. So the heart is now recognized as a primary organ of perception, creating more electromagnetic energy than the brain. They can freaking just test this now. Science has confirmed the heart is an electromagnetic machine, right? It is an organ of perception. Caring for our hearts, both physically and emotionally, is of immeasurable value to our lives. So hawthorn also then energetically connects to the heart chakra. The heart chakra is the very center of our being. Go ahead, put your hand on your chest right now. The middle ground between the earthly lower chakras and the heavenly upper chakras. So the heart is the middle meeting ground for the upper and lower chakras to come together. The heart is what allows us to rise above mere survival, pleasure, and ego drives. It helps us rise above that to feel true love for ourselves, for others, and for life itself. Although traditionally associated with the color green, this chakra also carries a pink vibration that combines the red root chakra with the white crown chakra. With white flowers and red berries, hawthorn helps us combine the two energies into a vibrant and balanced heart chakra. So there, we've tied all the worlds in. The energetic world, the nerdy world, the science world, the physical world. It all makes sense from any angle you want to look at it. So, love. Let's talk about love. The experience of love is an interesting thing. Interesting. And trust me, it's very interesting. Joy and sorrow are inextricably intertwined in the complicated web of the heart. So oftentimes, as Sarah Baldwin and Ashley are talking about in this book, the memory of a joyous experience will bring about a sense of nostalgia, a longing for the love felt in times past. So that could be like childhood memories are very nostalgic. Childhood holds nostalgic memories as we come into the world with naturally open hearts, and so experience it with a joyful, innocent perception. So this is also a time when we receive our first wounds to the heart, paving the way for future scars and closures. So even those who were blessed with a healthy upbringing can still point to painful childhood memories. Such injuries can linger into childhood, so that we unconsciously reenact relationships from our childhood in a cyclical way. So yeah, that traumatic stuff that happened to you as a child, it is like still here now. It might be subconscious. That could be part of what Rumi was talking about, the barriers that you built. So like you come into this world, you're all like, yay, I love it. And then you start to have those experiences, and that, you know, whether it's like rejection at school, an abusive parent, maybe just disappointment, you start to build a little barrier here, a little barrier there, and it goes on and on. So let's talk about the tincture of hawthorn. Tasting the tincture of hawthorn berries brings to mind the familiar flavor of cough syrup. So the kind that you took maybe if you had a childhood cold. So just tasting that cough syrupy flavor might bring about the resurfacing of childhood memories, particularly the times when the heart has been wounded. So hawthorn is all about heart healing. That's what the name of this card. Now is the time to examine the relationship of your past to your present through the lens of the heart. Take a close look at how you learned to give and receive love from your family. Can you see ways that issues in current relationships might reflect wounds from childhood? So this is not about blaming others. It is about taking responsibility for your feelings and moving forward. But it does serve you to maybe think about, how did you learn how to love? How did you learn how to give love, to receive love? Was there love in your family? Was there an absence of love? Was it abusive? Was it supportive? Was it kind of cold? Like, yeah, we're together, but it's not very friendly or nurturing or affectionate. Was your family a bunch of huggers or not? You know what I mean? Like, think about your childhood just for a little bit so you can see how it's affecting and impacting your relationships today. So you don't need to blame anybody. It's just about understanding and taking responsibility for how you are and then moving forward. So did you know that hawthorn is a member of the rose family? It's a member of the rose family. That makes sense because of the thorns. And it has thorns covering its trunk and its branches. So on an energetic level, these thorns act as acupuncture needles, gently piercing points of the emotional heart in order to stimulate healing. Doing such work now will allow you to dislodge blockages so that you can start pumping love more freely through your veins. So one practical exercise to stimulate heart healing is through self-massage around the chest area. So now put your hand on your chest again, but this time massage your chest area. When you come to a sore spot, massage and see if there's any tender or sore spots. When you come to one of those sore spots, Hold gentle pressure and breathe through the discomfort. Yoga and breath work are also beneficial in opening the heart. Keep in mind that releasing blocked emotions requires nothing less than your willingness to be fully present in your heart. This can be quite painful, but rest assured that any tears you shed now will clear the way for more love in your life. So it's like maybe you don't want to do this heart healing because it is the ultimate challenge and obstacle, and it's going to be painful. But it's like, listen, those tears are cleansing, and they will clear the way for more love in your life. Like, those energetic needles are piercing, but they stimulate the energetic flow of love to be pumped through your veins. So above all, the message from Hawthorn and the heart healing is to allow yourself to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. You now have the opportunity to view your patterns with great clarity so that you can break free from the limiting beliefs and assumptions about love. So the message is to have no fear. Have no fear. For Grandmother Hawthorn's medicine is gentle. She will never deliver more truth than you can handle. If you open yourself to her wisdom, you will receive the ultimate reward from Grandmother Hawthorn. You will receive the ultimate reward of a greater depth of feeling and a higher capacity to love. So yeah, be open, be vulnerable. It's like that is a decision you have to make. It's like, do you want to keep creating more thorns and barriers, or do you want to open yourself to a greater capacity to love? Like, I know it sucks. Like, hey, trust me, I know what it feels like to get burnt and hurt in love, and then kind of be like, oh, I'm done loving. Love can go fuck itself. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. But yet Hawthorn is also saying, like, love is a thirst for life itself. Even if you convince yourself you don't want love in your life, it is your nature to love because you are love. You were created from love for love. So it's like you're gonna have to get love in your life one shape or form or another, whether that be with Gaia, with the plants, with Rumi, with Source. Like, if you don't want to involve another human being, that's your right. You don't have to. But most everyone, even if they've been burnt with love 100 billion times, is still going to have that hope that they could still maybe possibly have love with another human being. So that brings us to our next card, number 6, the Lovers. From the Herb Crafters Tarot, written by Letitia Guthrie and artwork by Joanna Powell Colbert. I'm gonna cancel that phone call. It said potential spam. You guys getting phone calls and it says potential spam? Well, we don't want none of that, okay? Our Hawthorn is protecting us. Now, let's talk about the Lovers, though. This is a really sweet card. It's like, is that called a Vesca Pisces, where there's 2 overlapping circles? And one has hawthorn berries and one has hawthorn flowers. And they're coming together, the Lovers. And of course, now that we know, because we're a bunch of nerds, it's kind of cool that, like, hawthorn has the hermaphrodite flower. It's got the male and female parts. It is complete onto itself. What the heck, man? I'm not taking any phone calls right now. I'm in the middle of my 14 billion hour long podcast about Hawthorn. All right, so the key words for this Lovers card is dance with the beloved. And that reminds me of Rumi again, because he's all about the dancing and the wine drinking and getting your hair messy and not caring one lick what anybody thinks. Dance with the beloved. Be so drunk in the beloved's love that you dance freely and you feel good. Also, desire in spring becomes sustenance in fall. So that kind of talks to me like that's acknowledging those hawthorn flowers in the spring become berries that you can make sugar jelly with in the fall. Love blossoms, love wounds, love heals. So love blossoms, and yes, love wounds. Love can hurt, but also love heals. Love can heal. So yeah, we're looking at 2 hawthorn crowns, and they're on a delicate light green satin cloth. The crown above is covered in small fragrant white flowers. The crown below is full of tiny bright red berries. The stems of each lead to piercing thorns. The crowns woven together form a vesica piscis. The mandorla-shaped space where the wreaths overlap is the place where potential lives, where magic is created, where love dwells. So this Lover's card, Hawthorn says, give life to the fruits of divine union. Hawthorn opens the heart and ignites passion. Berries emerge from pollinated flowers, a partnership that feeds the bee and the tree. Relationships based on shared desires lead to sweet rewards. Take only what is yours and only what fills you with joy. If you pick too many flowers in the spring, the tree will yield little fruit in the fall. When making a choice, trust your heart. Though the thorns can be menacing, they can also be protective. So there's quite a few different aspects to the hawthorn tree, and it's like, yeah, like that thorn can be like painful, or that thorn can protect you from something that could be worse than, painful of the thorn. Like, it depends on what side of the tree you're on or where you're at. But that is good advice too. Like definitely trust your heart. I mean, do you want a lot of flowers this spring, or do you want to leave some of them so you have berries in the fall? What is it that you need? What are you looking for? So you can craft with the Lovers, and you can craft with hawthorn by creating a hawthorn flower and berry elixir and drink it to welcome the beloved into your heart. So the beloved is source, creator, God, Rumi, whatever you like the beloved is the higher energy. You can have beloveds in your life as well, but the beloved, right? Get it straight from the higher realm. Another way to craft with the Lovers is to pause to watch the bees pollinating flowers and reflect on the magic of desire in your journal. So the magic of desires, like the bee desires that nectar, right? That pollen, and it is drawn to the blossom. So take time if you can to visit a hawthorn tree. Hang your wounds on the thorns. Make a crown for your head. Taste the berries or the flowers and dance around the tree. Dance around the tree and get to know that hawthorn. All right, so moving on, we have the priestess of inspiration. She would probably definitely dance around the hawthorn tree. She's from the Enchanted Spell Oracle. It's a medieval Hedwig magic deck by Priestess Moon. And she's all about inspiration. So yeah, that energy of desire, of the beloved, of a lover, it inspires you to overcome any obstacle, go head on with the challenges, prove your love, show your love, be passionate in ways that like without that passion of desire, it wouldn't be sparked within you. There's nothing quite like love to fire up inspiration. So let's see if I know the alphabet. I'm struggling here with the alphabet. There we go. Inspiration. This next card for Hawthorn is all about insight, philosophy, and creation. So the mysterious hawthorn tree, it has so many connections with the fairy queen, the fairy world, and the underworld too. The legend of the fairy queen. So many stories. In medieval times, hawthorn blossoms were used to create a powerful sedative. According to folklore, hawthorn trees were not to be cut, and bringing the flowers into the house was considered bad luck. Modern science has revealed that a chemical in hawthorn blossom is the same as a chemical released when animals decay, thus explaining its medieval associations with the afterlife. So this priestess, though, she's so gorgeous. She's got this really long emerald green gown. That would definitely be the color of late spring and early summer. She stands amid the flowers, the berries, and the leaves of this sacred hawthorn bush. And beside her is this really big red chalice, the cup of knowledge. And the legend says whoever drinks from this will understand the mysteries of life. So when the inspiration card appears, expect to receive the flame of creative inspiration and some incredible insights. And that reminds me of the magical oracle card that said, what element is hawthorn associated with? Fire. Things that were once shrouded in mystery are being brought into the light. So yeah, in the physical body, in the modern world, this card indicates that keeping the mind active is just as important, right, as taking care of your physical body. So reading, researching, solving puzzles can open up the channels of inspiration and pleasantly challenge your brain, making it strong and healthy. That's why old people be doing crossword puzzles like there ain't no tomorrow. Like, do you know an old person that doesn't either do a crossword puzzle or a word search? Because they know they need that mental challenge every day. They enjoy it. It's pleasant. The lesson of Hawthorn is in understanding challenging concepts and abstract theories. So Hawthorn wants us to stretch our mind as you would stretch a muscle and watch it become stronger, allowing clear insights to make your life that little bit easier. So yeah, we've been like so focused on the heart. But Hawthorn is more than that too. It's saying, you know, mentally, you want to be creatively inspired, and you want to keep the mind active. And just like you keep the heart strong and active with exercise, you want to keep your mind active too with mental challenges and new research and listening to a 250-hour-long podcast about Hawthorn and really thinking a little bit farther than you would normally. So challenge yourself. There is a simple spell here in the Enchanted Spell Oracle that can help fan the flame of creative inspiration. It's called the Hawthorn Creatrix. And you take a charcoal disc and you light it before placing it into a ceramic dish. You take 3 dried hawthorn berries and a small piece of frankincense resin, and you place them onto the activated charcoal disc that's like on fire or whatever. As you watch the smoke curl and rise, imagine the smoky tendrils conjuring up creativity and inspiration, qualities that will make your life more beautiful and enjoyable. To say that the energy of this hawthorn herbal friend, plant spirit ally is massive is like an understatement. Like, because I'm like, wow, so much. Like, I don't even know what affirmations I'm going to want to do. I'll probably post this podcast and then have to meditate and think about the affirmations and then add them on. But what's kind of cool for me is we just did the Metatron podcast over the weekend, and Metatron's energy is massive. So it's actually hilarious to me that now our herb of the week to go with Metatron is also probably the most massive podcast, more than Dandelion. I'm pretty sure this podcast is going to make the Dandelion podcast look like a pipsqueak. All right, so making life more inspired, creative, and enjoyable sounds good to me. So our next card is from the Illustrated Herbiary by Maya Toll, and it has a message of heart's home, heart's home. And it's a really cool image of a hawthorn tree, a big tree. It has a door, a wooden door in the trunk, so it is a portal. The roots are in water. The branches go into the clouds and the mountains, and the tippy top goes into the sun. So there's like these overlapping circles. It's like a Vesca Pisces, but like a 4-way Vesca Pisces. It's really an interesting image. If you get your hands on the Illustrated Herbiary book, you'll want to check it out. But Hawthorn in this oracle has a message of heart's home, heart's home. And we'll have a little write up here, and then we have a ritual and a reflection. The ritual is anchoring the land, and the reflection is connecting to home, right? And I think that's sweet, because it's like, you know, a lot of the messages of the hawthorn tree is don't look outside of yourself for what you can find within you. And our hearts want to connect with the energy of home, the energy of God, source, all that is, the creator. That's home. So a lot of times we do have this longing for a love that we just can't find here on earth. And it's no wonder, because it's all going to pale in comparison from source, from the creator's love. So this, and a lot of people are like, I just feel like I want to go home. And it's like, well, go home then. And they're like, no, not home on Anchor Avenue or wherever you live, right? You want to go home. And that's why we need to meditate. That's why we need to be in nature. That's why we need to go within, because in these bodies, we can only really satisfy that thirst to go home within. It's an inside job. So heart's home is what Hawthorn wants to talk about. Hawthorn, like we said, can live like 400 friggin' years. It remembers a time when local gods watched over knolls and wells, frolicking and making mischief in her branches. Hawthorn remembers her limbs being hung with strands of beads glittering in the sun and scraps of fabric fluttering in the wind like prayer flags. She remembers the offerings to the land itself and to the gods who kept alive the vital conduit between spirit and matter. Those days are mostly past, but Hawthorn holds the portals open, Knowing these interconnections provide true nourishment to keep the heart whole. So if Hawthorn appears for you, and it has today, strengthen your heart and guard it from the homesickness by tending the connections between the spirit realms and the material world. So if you've been feeling homesick for the greater love, you got to tend to that connection, the unseen and the seen. You are the conduit, you are the connection, you are the bridge. So there is a ritual called anchoring the land. A lot of landscapes around the globe lost their genus loci, the spirit of place, when natural landmarks were removed to make way for roads and buildings and other human endeavors. A lot of sacred places basically got plowed over and paved. You can reanimate the genus loci in the landscapes you call home with a simple visualization, and do it as often as you feel called to do this. So you begin by either walking or imagining the boundaries of your space. So whether you define it as your land, your neighborhood, your house, or the contours of your 5th floor apartment. Okay, walk around it or imagine it. When you have a clear idea of the breadth of space you're anchoring, identify the umbilicus, the physical and energetic center of that space. So from this umbilicus, from this spot, imagine a golden cord dropping into the earth, sinking until it roots itself in the molten core at the earth's center. So see a golden umbilical cord in the center of your space, going down to the core of the earth, rooting itself. Feel the vibrancy, the aliveness of this connection. So you've got this golden cord. Next, send a silver cord from the same central point up to the heavens. So the gold cord goes down, the silver cord goes up to the heavens, allowing the energies of moonlight and starshine to infuse your space with light and peace. Your space is now anchored to the earth and sky, a part of the larger whole. So if you want to make your space feel more sacred, bring in some balancing energies, bring in some love energies, try that anchoring the land ritual and consciously bring in the gold and silver energies from Gaia and from the sky from the heavens into your space. So the reflection for Hawthorn from the Illustrated Herbiary is, in times past, you would not have wandered terribly far from the place where you were born and raised. Okay, like we going back now. We're going back. Now the world is different now, and you have the glorious opportunity to call many places home. And yet, your heart sometimes longs for a landscape vastly different from the one in which you find yourself. So if the answer to the following questions is no, use the ritual, the anchoring the land ritual that we just talked about to connect more. So do you need to do that ritual? Let me ask you 3 questions. If you answer no to these questions, then yes, you need to do the anchoring ritual. All right, here's the question. Answer them honestly. Are you connected to the place where you live? Can your heart call it home? Can you feel the gentle pulses of the earth? So if you answered no, you don't feel connected really to the place where you live. Your heart really doesn't feel like it's home. And what? There's a gentle pulse of the earth here? So if you answered no to that, then try to do that umbilicus anchoring, the gold cord down into the core of the earth and the silver cord up into the sky and the heavens. Try doing that a few times when you feel called to, just so you can start to feel at home where you live, so that your heart can be connected to that space. I mean, you are where you are. You need to feel connected to it. You're there for a reason, and the earth would like you to enjoy wherever you are planted. And the earth wants you to connect to her wherever you are and feel the gentle pulse of the earth. So if you're not feeling super connected to the space where you now reside, that's a little motivation to do the ritual of anchoring the land. So one more thing, I told you there is a door on the trunk of this tree. And yeah, the hawthorn tree is a portal into the fairyland. Some people call it the fairy tree. In Ireland, thank you Ireland for the PayPal. In Ireland, hawthorn is used to create hedgerows that form the boundaries of pastures. These hedgerows create a patchwork of contiguous spaces, each energetically unique and held by hawthorn's thorns. So hawthorn hedgerows are different from the solitary hawthorn, right? The hedgerows are different from just a tree. A singular hawthorn or fairy tree is a portal to the spirit realm. It nurtures your connection to the other world, feeding your soul the food of dreams and stories. It is bad luck to cut down a fairy tree. If you do, you damage this necessary connection with the collective unconsciousness. All right, so don't be cutting down that mother trucking fairy tree. Leave it alone. All right. Are you ready for another one? Let's do one more, and I'll take another drink break, and then we've got 4 left. I know. That's what I'm telling you. This is the most massive herb of the week. And I thought dandelion was massive, but actually it's hawthorn. It's hawthorn. So hawthorn, and we'll talk more about this card Wednesday. This hawthorn card has the black veined white dragon butterfly on it. Black veined white butterfly, and they look like dragons on this card. And it has a message of hope. So this is what we're going to manifest more of this week with hawthorn. Hope. And we need it. So hawthorn, do you remember where it's native to? Pop quiz. Where is hawthorn native? It's native to Europe, Northwest Africa, and Western Asia. But now it's as widespread as the folklore that surrounds it. It is sacred to the fairy folk, and it is a symbol of hope. It is considered ill luck to cut branches or pluck flowers from a hawthorn, as it upsets the fairies living in the tree. Despite this, both the flowers and berries were used in jellies and wines, and still are. Hawthorn flowers were used in Greek weddings and as vampire stakes by the people of Serbia and Croatia. Current studies are looking at hawthorn's use in treating chronic heart failure and cardiovascular disease. So it is a heart tonic, and it's very important physically and spiritually. I can hear the fairies of my little house becoming restless. So here's what this card wants to say, and we'll review this card on Wednesday too. No matter how dark your path might get, hope will get you through. So hope is about knowing the challenges you are working through will resolve for a greater good, and all the difficulties you face will be worth it. Hope is the light at the end of the tunnel, and the reason we keep doing what we do. So it's our hope that keeps us going. Hope inspires action, and sometimes it may be the only thing that keeps us moving. So Hawthorn is all about hope, and Hawthorn wants you to trust that the universe wants you to be happy and to work toward your joys, even in the worst of times. So hold the knowledge in your heart that you will reach your goal, and the world will be better for it. So Hawthorn wants to ask you, in what ways do you carry hope in your heart? So, as we talk about Hawthorn as a cardio tonic and good energy for your heart health, hope is also good for your heart. So what kind of hope do you carry in your heart space? What kind of hope you got? Yeah, definitely my kids are totally like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Honey, there are still 4 more Hawthorn cards. And if I haven't rushed my ass yet in this podcast, I ain't gonna do it now. Okay? Because there are some people that came to this Hawthorn buffet and they want to sample everything. So thanks for hanging out. We've come to the 6 of Wands from the Herbal Tarot by Michael Tierra and Candace Canton, the 6 of Wands. This guy he looks like a knight. He's got 5 wands in the ground around him, and he's holding one like a hawthorn staff. Like, oh my God, this could be Jesus's uncle. But he totally has that energy of hope. He is a warrior. He appears triumphant after a minor conflict, right? So he maybe just got through a little challenge, a little obstacle. He's feeling pretty good. The mood is one of tentative victory. The contenders have left their staves. They've left their wands behind. So he basically chased off 5 contenders. This is kind of like that card where the warrior was avoiding the pack of wolves, right? But this guy didn't avoid the pack of wolves. He contended, okay? And he won. Perhaps they decided that the prize is not, after all, worth the struggle, thus leaving the victor the problem of confronting the true worth of his achievement. So here's what the 6 of Wands wants to say to you. Be sure that what you are struggling to achieve is worth the price of time and energy expended. You may find others acquiescing and stepping aside simply because they have decided the possible gain is not worth the potential loss. The exception to this is the value of undergoing a challenging or difficult task for the sake of personal growth and realization. So, such exercises are often done as an initiation rite. Remember, however, each moment of our lives offers an opportunity to rise above our limitations. We may not be up to them all, so we should learn to choose those opportunities that offer the most good for all. So yeah, like that guy that's hiding out from the pack of wolves, he did not think that was worth it. He's like, yeah, this would be a great story to tell how I fought off, hopefully, a dozen angry wolves. He's like, but nah, I'm good. I'll pass on that. So in our life, Hawthorne's saying, yeah, like there's challenges all around, but only accept the challenges that you feel that is going to be worth it. That'll be worth rising to the obstacle, right? That'll be worth the effort. Like, yeah, lots of challenges, but which ones do you want? Which one will offer the most good for all? So this may be a time for self-confidence and pride and leadership and teamwork abilities. Be open for messages from within or from the world around you as to what you are to do next. All right, so spiritually, Hawthorn will help to release a person from feelings of disharmony and even hate. Remember that magical lemonade we made to make everybody feel harmonious? Hawthorn helps release us from disharmony, helps release us from that feeling of hate. So if you're carrying a lot of hate in your heart center and you'd rather be carrying hope, maybe get yourself some Hawthorn ASAP. It will reinstate inner calm and poise after a period of conflict and struggle. The heart chakra will be fortified, and a greater sense of ease and self-love will be renewed. So medicinally, it is mildly sedative, it's calming, it's a gentle but effective remedy for problems of the heart, for the circulatory system. It can be used for all types of arteriosclerosis and angina pectoris and high blood pressure. It's a good remedy for high blood pressure. You can use the sour flavor to stimulate the appetite. You can help it aid your digestion and all types of things. So I'm sort of skimming along because we'll totally go through this card 100% at Herbal Marie once we get to the Six of Wands and the herbal tarot journey that I got going on over there. But you can use this herbal essence to fortify the energy of the heart and to foster feelings of self-love and love for those with whom you have been in conflict. So all these challenging mother truckers that you've had in your life, past lovers, you got to resolve that energy within you, because you don't want to be carrying those barriers within you anymore. You want love. You want harmony. So you could put a couple berries in your medicine pouch. You could make some sour tea with the berries. You could take some tincture, a dropper full 3 times a day. Disclaim out the wazoo. Hawthorn berries should not be used with ulcers, colitis, or heart conditions that display excess heat in the body. So don't use the berries if you got that going on. It says use the herbal essence instead. So maybe the leaves. I don't know, look into it. If you don't have hawthorn berries, the herbal allies are rose hips and cranberries. So cranberries and rose hips could be used instead if you want to facilitate some heart chakra clearing and healing. So Hawthorn is definitely about victory, confidence. The Six of Wands is all about satisfaction, self-confidence, message from within as to the direction to take. We want to refer inward. Calmness of heart. We want to be calm and harmonious. We want to be assured. So the Six of Wands in Hawthorns gives us the affirmation, I confidently move forward in the direction that my heart dictates. So yes, I confidently move forward in the direction that my heart dictates. Your heart needs to be the dictator. And you guys know how I love that word, dictator. All right, so what's really cool is our next card actually is a path. So I confidently move forward in the direction that my heart dictates. And our next card is from, what's it called? Where is my book even for this? I did not get the book. Where is it? Oh, here it is. It's hiding on the bookshelf. The Plant Spirit Oracle by Dana O'Driscoll. She has this awesome drawing of a path, kind of a dark woods. And there's these hawthorn trees on each side of the path. And there's a woman on the path, and she's got this protective red and violet energy swirling around her. And this card, of course, the key words on the bottom of this Hawthorn card are protection, healing, and gateways. protection, healing, and gateways. So this just ties in everything that we've been talking about, with the protectiveness of the hawthorn, with the healing power of the medicine of the hawthorn, and the gateways into the unseen realms and fairyland, right? So I'm not actually going to read so much from this book because I think she's just going to reiterate pretty much everything that we've talked about. But I do want to say, I want to read one section of it called Inner Light. Inner Light. So as we go through life, we accumulate many painful and hurt experiences. And these experiences have a way of building up in us, right? Think of a very jaded person who has seen and experienced too much, right? This buildup prevents our true light, the light of our souls, the gifts we offer the world. They prevent our true light from shining forth. So Hawthorn suggests that healing is needed so that our own inner light may shine brightly out into the world and we may share our gifts with others. Consider then if you are allowing your inner light and true gifts to shine forth, or if they are masked or covered in some way. So that is the whole point of healing with Hawthorn. It's like, why should you heal your heart? Well, so you can feel better, so you can feel love, so you can have the divine beloved shining through you, so you can shine this light and gift the world with your presence. You don't really want to be a jaded, bitter bitch, do you? Do you? So that's what this card is talking about too. Just an idea, there is a recipe or a suggestion to make a hawthorn heart healing oil. And you would basically make an infused oil with fresh or dried hawthorn, also with lavender flowers and rose petals or essential oil. And you rub this oil over your heart each day to help you overcome a traumatic experience and feel protected and safe. So I definitely think that's a great idea to massage your chest, to like, especially if you're like consciously doing heart healing work now and you want to open up more and you want to resolve the trauma and you want to stimulate just even your physical heart and your energetic heart, your spiritual heart, your heart chakra. Chest massage, you guys, chest massage. I think it's a perfect practice of self-caring and self-love to do on the daily as you walk your path, right, through this kind of shady looking forest. You are protected, you are doing your healing, and you are opening up portals and gateways. So we've got 2 cards left. One's a doozy and one's a quickie. We're going to do the doozy first. It's the Celtic Tree Oracle. This is the deck that we end with on our Thursday podcast. This is also number 6, Hawthorn. So number 6, the number of harmony, compassion, and love. Now the totems with this Celtic tree are the fairies and the white stag. And the deities and guides are Persephone, the maiden aspect of the goddess, the horn god Cernunnos, and Herne, the hunter. The peasant for this tree is the class for this tree is the peasant, and it is a letter H. And the key words for this Celtic tree are cleansing and purification, chastity and abstinence, sabbatical, preparation, magic, protection of the sacred, and sacred marriage. So yeah, the Hawthorn initiates in the 6th lunation. It is during this portal that we celebrate the spring equinox, which heralds in the planting season. Persephone returns to her mother. Demeter. She returns to her, and now a new cycle of life begins. So this Hawthorn represents a period for cleansing and purification. And we are called to protect the inner realm and ready ourselves for Beltane on May 1st or November 1st if you're in the southern hemisphere. So anyways, we prepare our gardens for the seeds that we want to plant. We clear the fields. The Hawthorn teaches us to purify ourselves as we prepare for the sacred marriage, which calls for the union of male and female, as well as the union of intellect and mind with feeling and intuition. So that's why the Hawthorn wants us to expand our hearts, but also challenge our mind and intellect. It is a union of the male and female energies. This marriage establishes true power and wholeness. So it's like we don't just want to be all in our minds. We don't just want to be all in our hearts. We want true power, which is a symbolic union of both. So the Hawthorn asks you to spend some sacred time in preparation for a meaningful birth experience. You are encouraged to clean up your act, to let go of what no longer serves you, and treat your body, mind, and soul with sacred respect. This is a time for spring cleaning, just like Metatron said too, which not only applies to your home and work environment and your garden, but also to your inner environment. Take time to put everything in order. Clean out your closet, clean the house, clean up the files on your computer. Let go of that which no longer has meaning for you or that you no longer use. So yeah, good time to have a garage sale or just donate unwanted things to charity. It's definitely a good time to let go of old stories that are painful. It's a great time to forgive. You are encouraged to set aside quiet time and go within. Clean out old and unnecessary thought patterns and unhelpful emotional patterns and let them go. You may be ready to let go of a behavioral rut or habits. So good time to let everything go. Great time to forgive. Perfect time to stop telling the stories that are painful, because you have to understand that you perpetuate them. Now, you may also be asked to protect your inner truth from something outside you. Attention to your relationships with yourself, with nature, and with the divine are essential to maintain self-sovereignty. So you can ask Hawthorn to encircle and protect your sacred space. Like just energetically, you can call on the spirit of Hawthorn and ask to be encircled and protected and make my space sacred. Clean up your altar. Spend some time recreating the energy. So yes, this tree, even though funnily enough it's on a lot of the Lovers card, it does support chastity. And so it can represent a time out for purification. This can have to do with fasting. This could do with prayer and meditation. And of course, abstinence from sex or overindulgence. So the Hawthorn also speaks of reconnecting to the magic and mystery of nature. Do you believe in fairies? You can reconnect to the unseen realms of the elementals. You can reconnect to the mythical world of dragons and unicorns. Close your eyes and go within and recall what it felt like to be a child and see the world through innocent eyes and with a joyful heart. Magic is real and is only waiting for your invitation. So if you answered no to that, if you're like, fairies, what? Childhood, who? Perhaps you are holding on to things for too long. You have become that bitter bitch. If you find you have too many material goods, you're hoarding, then it is time to share some of that abundance to make psychic space for the new, right? You clear out the clutter, you make room for new energy. If this feels impossible, ask a trusted friend to help. Perhaps, on the other hand, you are overly attached to the past. In that case, the energies of Hawthorn will assist you in letting go. Are you so busy that it feels impossible to create time for introspection? Are you really busy? Well, if you've listened to this part, if you're still listening to this podcast, I don't think you're too busy, okay? You have no more excuses. You can do this. But if you are hanging out too much in either the masculine energy of the mind or the feminine energy of dependence, you may want to call on Hawthorn to assist you to balance these energies, as her domain is the sacred marriage within. So you know it. If you're, we have been asking ourselves and figuring this out. So at this point, if you've been self-evaluating, you kind of know if you're too much in your headspace or too much in a vulnerable space of dependence. Hawthorn can help you balance those. And if you have shut yourself off from the magic and mystery of the unseen realms, you may be missing out on the regeneration that is offered. So perhaps you are trying to push something ahead without giving it grow time. Sometimes we have to wait for things to align. If you are overindulging, it is time to cleanse and detoxify. So I don't know about you, but in my own personal life, I really am feeling the call to like get my cupboards organized, get rid of stuff that's just like there and we're never going to use. Really create a sacred space in my home. Do the same thing in my mind, let go of these old stories, let go of these insecurities, let go of all the limiting belief systems that I have built, right? These barriers that I have built within me. It's time to clear and cleanse and let that go, and do that in all facets and aspects of my life. So the Hawthorn wants to have the microphone one last time. And here's our attunement from the Hawthorn. I am the Hawthorn and am often referred to as the fairy tree. Do you remember when you believed in magic in the world of fairies and unicorns? Can you remember how it felt to be an innocent child full of awe and wonder? It is time to renew your belief in the unseen realm of nature, as this realm is as real as the high whistle that your dog can hear, but you cannot. Your eyes and ears are awesome indeed, but they are not so highly attuned that they can see or hear all that surrounds you. Bring your attention to the eyes and ears within. There, through your psychic abilities, you'll discover dimensions of great love, care, and unity. Close your eyes and remember. See the fairies dancing and singing amidst the flowers and trees. Enjoy the babbling brook and the little animals that live at the foot of the tree. Return to the natural world of magic. Return to the slow and steady beat of the heart of Gaia. Return to the paradise that she is. Return to the secret majesty that lives within and without you. Yes, return to the medicine of nature, return to the energy of nature, return to the magic of nature, return to the world of fairies and unicorns, and understand that just because you can't see it with your physical eyes doesn't mean that it's not there. You can't see love, you can't see electricity, you can't see oxygen, but trust me, it's there. It's there. So when we close our eyes and we go inside, we learn to attune ourselves to the eyes and ears that we have within us, our psychic vision, our psychic hearing. And there we can tap into the unseen realms. So we're ending with our final card, y'all. It's a Hawthorn card from the Soul Trees by Lisa Estabrook. It's all about courage. It's all about courage. And Hawthorn says to have courage, right? To do this work, to challenge yourself, to go through these obstacles, to heal your heart, to expand your mind, to find that balance within. Courage. Hawthorn's medicine for the heart, it is on all levels, helping you to find the courage to face and overcome your fears and facilitate self-love and self-acceptance. That will take courage. Hawthorn supports a strong and protected, open-hearted state, allowing you to fully give and receive love so that you can truly come into your own divine strength and power. Wow, do you not want to give out a rebel yell? Just a hee-haw for the Hawthorns. We did it. 13 hours later, we have now made it to the end of this podcast. Thank you so much for taking on this challenge to get to know Hawthorn in the deepest, most challenging way, right? We just trekked. We just went up the mountain and back down again twice. That's how I feel. Shout out to all of these amazing cards. Shout out to my kids for being quiet and giving me this space to sit with you and talk with you and hang out with Hawthorn. So many amazing messages. Now I'm going to accept the challenge to come up with the perfect Hawthorn affirmations. I'll close my eyes. I'll go within. I'll tap into my inner vision and listen with my inner ears and let Hawthorn help me with that. Absolutely. But thank you so much. This is our herb of the week, you guys. Hawthorn. It's ginormous. It's gigantic. It's magnificent and just huge. And it's so important for us to really tap into this energy this week. Quit dicking around a minute longer and do our heart healing. Invest more hope into ourselves and our journey, as you know, we just literally refuse to stop because we just are filled with hope and we're filled with that thirst of love. And that is just some of the few things that Hawthorn is about. So on that note, you guys, Hawthorn's medicine is for the heart on all levels. So I hope that you tap into it and find the courage to face and overcome your fears, and most importantly, facilitate self-love and self-acceptance. Everything you need is within you. You are whole and you are complete, just like the hawthorn flower. So anyways, so much love to you. Thanks for hanging out. Wow. Affirmation Minute is brought to you by our massively important herb of the week, Hawthorn. And I dedicate them all to you. Thank you. I am healing my heart. I rise to challenges and overcome obstacles. I open my inner gateways and connect with love within. I expand my mind and intelligently lead with my heart. I feel protected and stimulate my capacity to love. I am inspired, harmonious, and full of hope. I am healing my heart. I rise to challenges and overcome obstacles. I open my inner gateways and connect with love within. I expand my mind and intelligently lead with my heart. I feel protected and stimulate my capacity to love. I am inspired, harmonious, and full of hope. So be it.